it's me. It's really me. Hey there. Why you so blurry, me? Alright. Hey guys, Danny here from the GNOMES with a little bit of a video essay for you today. Basically all year I've been playing a crap ton of video games, and 2018 has been an amazing year for video games. I don't know if I've invested as much time in completing games, playing through these stories, as I have in 2018, and that's saying a lot. I'm kind of trying a new setup here. I want to do a few more of these kind of video essay type videos where I kind of talk at you, I put the camera there, I look at me, and I'm not really talking to anyone, but you guys are going to watch it later and see what I think. I don't know. So basically the way I want to start this off, there were so many games this year, I'm not going to be able to talk about all of them. We're just going to number it down to the top 10. But I want to start off by showing all these honorable mentions of games that I played either a crap ton of, I had an amazing time playing. Some games that I'm not going to talk about in my top 10, but I want to make sure they get recognized. And you know, if they look interesting to you, go pick them up. A lot of them are indie games, you know, support indie people. It's really good. But yeah, check out these honorable mentions.
Disperse immediately, or you will all be killed!
We have to show them we won't back down. We stay right here.
That's good. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, come on, Vincent.
Okay, now that we got the honorable mentions out of the way, we're going to move on to my top 10 games of 2018. A few things first, this is all opinion. My list is not going to match your list, so feel free to comment below, let me know what your top 10 games are, but this is going to be my number 10 to my number 1 for 2018. Also, it's probably going to contain some spoilers, maybe not so much of what I'm saying, more so the footage you're going to see, but regardless, just, you know, you've been warned. Okay, so number 10 on my Game of the Year list is Monster Hunter World. Monster Hunter World was the first time I really dipped my toe into a Monster Hunter game, and it really hooked me. I tried some of the older games. For example, I tried Try on the Wii U, and it didn't really grab me. I didn't really understand what this game was. What initially caught my attention were these massive worlds you were going to be exploring, hunting these monsters. From the ancient forest to the coral highlands, there was just this beautiful expanse of areas that I love to see. And each one of those maps has secret hideouts, special places, different items you need to pick up to then craft into stronger items. It's incredible. But of course, the big thing for Monster Hunter World are the monsters. You're always meeting new monsters, including the Anjanath, the Baroth, and my personal favorite, Puke. For Monster Hunter World, I kind of feel like someone who picked up Pokemon a lot later in life, where you're not sure you're saying the names right until you hear it said in game. Along with meeting all these new monsters, you need to take the time to investigate them, figure out their patterns, their attack styles, what they're weak against, what they're strong against, what their armor is going to do to benefit you once you hunt them, and craft it into something even better. And then there's that triumphant moment when you're clobbering a monster with your hammer and you hear this. Oh yeah, that's the stuff. I don't have many complaints about this game. I really enjoyed it most of the time. The one problem I had was matchmaking. There was always a dilemma of trying to play together, but then a cutscene shows up so you can't join that person, and then they have to go start their mission. Once they're into the mission, they have to fire a flare, but then they're in the middle of fighting a giant monster, so sometimes they get distracted and don't really think to do it. So hopefully that's something they fix in a future Monster Hunter World 2 or Monster Hunter World whatever would be next. To be completely honest, this is probably the best game that's ever come out. I mean, ever. and deserves to be moved to number 1 on my list. So my favorite game 2018 is Monster Hunter World. Damn it, Connor. But seriously, the guys just picked up this game and we've been playing it the last couple weeks and we are having a blast. And it's super fun to get people who really aren't into Monster Hunter into Monster Hunter. And now this is definitely a game I could see us picking up future iterations of together and playing through the story. It's really nice to be back into this game, with it being nearly a year since I played it from launch. I'm also really excited for both the Iceborne expansion as well as the Witcher 3 story missions. And let's face it, who didn't like the Witcher 3? That game was amazing. I'm super excited for Witcher and Monster Hunter. Number 9 on my list is Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 is the first Far Cry game to take place in America, in a small town called Hope County, Montana. You start as a police deputy who's come to Hope County to arrest Joseph Seed, the man in charge of a religious cult that's taken over the town, along with his siblings, John, Jacob, and Jingleheimer Schmidt. Or, Faith. Sorry. Confused. But you have to take down all 3 siblings first before you get your hands on Joseph, while the world's covered in Peggies, also known for their connection of Project Eden's Gate. By your side for this crazy ride are characters that'll work pretty much like your co-op partner, such as Nick Rye and Cheeseburger, the friendliest bear you're ever gonna meet. I know reviews really hit this game for its ending, but I for one really like the idea that not all games have to have a happy ending. Basically the way this game ends up is either you try and save the town and everybody dies, or you leave to come back to save the town and everybody dies. It's a darker ending and I really kind of like that in a game, because most games end with you beating the final boss and going home and really enjoying it. I think Far Cry 5 really makes you think about what's to come next and what's going to happen. Plus it sets up for a really quick sequel that's coming out early next year, but hey, you know what? I'll be picking it up on day 1 anyway, so it's going to be cool. I was actually 1 trophy away from platinuming this game, but I didn't have a buddy to play the co-op missions with. Until I found out while recording gameplay that Jimmy owns this game. So we did those co-op missions and now I got the platinum. Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate it, bud. Okay, but number 8 on my list is Red Dead Redemption 2. Alright, so I know I definitely have some explaining to do. I think there's plenty of people on the internet who talked about how great this game is and why it deserves Game of the Year. I'm going to take a moment to talk about why I liked it, but also why it's so low on my list. The story's good, and the environments are stunning, but the game is loved so much because it has Rockstar on it. I think Rockstar has gotten this title of making amazing games, even though there are many flaws, people kind of seem just to look past it. The one thing I didn't like about the story is how I felt as good as I tried to be, the story missions made me the villain. Whether I tried to save everybody I passed, help anybody who needed a lift, suck venom out of a guy's leg who got bit by a snake, it all ended with me going to rob a bank and kill people. And I know that's kind of the time period and that's what things are supposed to be like, but I felt like the first Red Dead kind of gave me the option of being, if I'm good, I'm good, if I'm bad, I'm bad. I started to think about halfway through my playthrough, I think I would have rather liked to play as Dutch Vanderlyn, leading the gang, and then that way I get to make the decisions of what's good and what's bad, and that'll tailor the way my story goes. Some of the survival requirements, like eating, drinking, smoking, to keep all your stats up, kind of took me out of the escapism of the game. And I know that's kind of one of the reasons I don't like Fallout 76 that much, just because there's this mechanic that I constantly have to keep up with to make sure, hey, I'm not hungry, hey, I'm doing this, hey, I'm doing that. And it really just took me out of the game while I was trying to play. But I don't want to spend the whole time roasting the game. I think there are a lot of great things here. This game was a phenomenon. Everybody knew what this game was. Your mom, your dad, grandma, grandpa, the kids at school, the pastor, everybody knew people were playing Red Dead Redemption 2. And it takes a lot to be that kind of game. I really enjoyed sitting at a party with the guys and simply talking about what was happening. What mission I was on, who just died, who I just killed, that I just got jumped by a bunch of criminals and now I'm going to kill them because they tried to take my horse. But I personally think playing that way was a better version than what Red Dead Online is. We got in, we played a whole bunch of missions, and then we kind of hit our point of there's not much left to do. Nothing entertaining anyway. Surely it's Rockstar. They're going to update this game. They're going to do more with online. It's going to be probably as big, if not bigger, than GTA 5 Online. But right now, it's just not much for me. Something I really wanted to get out of this game was to feel that it was my own. That what happened in this game only happened to me. And it did for a while. The part where I went to help a dude, and all of a sudden he gets kicked to death by his horse who got startled by my voice. You know, that was really cool. That was just me. Until everybody and their mother started posting that clip on Facebook. I know it sounds like I hate this game, and I really don't. It wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it's still obviously on my top 10 games, and I really enjoyed it. I think you could go anywhere else on YouTube and listen to someone talk about how great this game is, but I do just want to be realist here and talk about the things that aren't as great, and hopefully they'll repair those or fix them later in the future. Number 7 on the list is Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I've been playing Assassin's Creed every year since Assassin's Creed 3, and I've really enjoyed the games. There have been some missteps along the way. We don't want to look at Assassin's Creed Unity right now. I didn't finish all of them. Some honestly didn't keep my attention very long, but Assassin's Creed Odyssey is definitely one of, if not, my favorite Assassin's Creed game to date. You can play this game as Alexio or Cassandra, but I've yet to meet someone who hasn't picked Cassandra because she's a badass and pretty hot, to be honest. Something I really like about Assassin's Creed Odyssey is the way some missions are handled. So for example, you can be sent on a fetch quest, and upon bringing the item back, you'll be asked who stole the item in the first place. You can either call someone out, lie, or completely forget the person because they all have crazy names and just pick one. Along with a massive world that looks amazing, there's a lot of depth to the story, seeing as there's 3 main story arcs: the family, the cult, and Atlantis. The mythical beasts you have to fight in the Atlantis storyline are insane, and even though it's fictional and kind of takes away from the historical realism, that was my favorite part of the game. That being said, I did complete all 3 storylines, but none of them really felt like I finished the game. They were filled with content though that kept me in the game for countless hours. I really enjoyed Assassin's Creed Origins last year, and this game was all the best parts of that game, enhanced and fixed for a more polished experience. I know opinions are kind of scattered on the new combat system, but I'm a huge fan of it. The skill system honestly allows you to unlock and equip skills the way you want. So you can Spartan kick, bull rush, and shoot slow motion arrows to your heart's content. However, I do want to make one major call out about some of the insanely awful frame rate drops that I got the first week of playing. I played on a PS4 Pro, and this is what I got to see a handful of times. What do you do when you're single, into weird chicks, and love grungy and crude humor? Monster Prom. Monster Prom takes the 6th place on my list, and this game came out of nowhere. I heard about it on a podcast, I checked it out on Steam, I immediately bought it, and of course we made some videos with it.
Paid freak!
Oh, and I'm gonna punch your other! Ow!
That's a good voice for her.
Thank you. This is the first dating sim I've ever really played, and god damn is it fun. You get to play as one of 4 characters, trying to take one of 6 other monster characters to prom. You run through 3 weeks building up your individual stats to find the courage, boldness, and charm to ask your fellow student to prom. The dialogue is so genuine, and very much I remember talking in high school with my friends. Just a lot less demons and drugs. Straight edge. Each character is great and lovable in their own way, and the 6 main potential dates are voiced by various YouTubers. So, beautiful glitch, if you're looking for another YouTuber to voice some DLC characters, straight edge guy right here. It's also super fun just to read all the dialogue in your own funny voices with your friends.
Pokemon's cosplay. Coach says to always use your full ass on everything.
So at the end of the 3 weeks, you either find true love and companionship, or you find yourself putting your heart and soul into showing your crush intimate levels of compassion and caring to end up being left on the curb to wallow in your own shame while she blocks you on social media. Yeah. High school was tough. But there are also secret endings you can unlock by following certain paths, like Damien punching the sun, Vera becoming a crime boss, and Pauline wanted to be reincarnated by banging in a special position, the reverse Romanian Wilkinson. You bet your ass I got that one. 3. The developers did something special by creating a game that makes everybody feel included, and showing off the variety of people, attitudes, and sexualities there really are in this world. Also at PAX, they showed off a teaser for the next expansion, the super secret DLC, that we should be getting more details about sometime here in 2019. Number 5 on this list is The Messenger. I first heard about The Messenger from one of my favorite YouTube channels, Kinda Funny Games, and once I saw the gameplay, I knew this game was a day one buy for me. The Messenger starts out as an action platformer with a variety of levels, all with different styles, and then becomes a Metroidvania, and as many of those as we currently have in this gaming climate. It's a nice change of pace for the style of game. It's big enough to have a medley of experiences, but small enough to not really get lost. The game starts off with your village being attacked by the Demon King, when you are then recruited by the Western hero who appoints you as, well, the messenger, and you are now tasked with delivering this message to the top of the mountain. As you progress through the story, making it to the Tower of Time, battling a timekeeper, and committing to the leap of faith, you now have the ability to basically time travel, and the style of game becomes even more fascinating that you swap between 8-bit and 16-bit. What really grabs me in an indie game is the aesthetic of a retro game with the controls and mechanics of a modern game, which is why this game reaches levels of enjoyment for me much like Shovel Knight. And I love Shovel Knight. That's right, buddy. You're my favorite. Don't worry, the messenger's not going to take you away. While traversing back and forth in time, you'll run into obstacles that don't exist anymore, plants that took years to grow, and enemies that never seem to be able to move from that one simple spot. The humor in this game is just downright hysterical. From the conversations with the shopkeeper, to the quick quips Quarble makes every time you die. The variety in bosses is super cool, while each one of them has its own gimmick and specific way to fight them. I 100% completed this game, collecting all the music notes, green coins, and abilities, and I put a lot of time into it. And aside from loving the base game, I got insanely pumped when I learned that Sabotage is working on DLC for the game, and I cannot wait to play it. Oh my god! Messenger DLC! Whoa, dude! This is so cool! Number 4 on this list is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Of course this game's on the list, it's freaking Smash Bros. In case you've been living under a rock, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the biggest Super Smash Bros. Game so far, with 74 fighters, 77 if you count Pokemon Trainers 3, and 6 more characters on the way, including Piranha Plant and Joker from Persona 5. Smash Bros. Ultimate added a new mode, World of Light, which is basically the story mode, and focuses heavily on the new mechanic Spirits, which are unlockable companions that add to your character's abilities. I think Nintendo did sort of a bad job explaining what Spirits were, because I know when they got announced, a lot of people just kind of looked at it as a tacked-on mode, and that kind of is still what it is. And now I get it, but still just a tacked-on part of the game that I think will be removed in the next iteration of the franchise. We used to play Smash 4 in our college condo all the time. We would get wings, sandwiches, sodas, and about 30 people who would just hang out, yelling and smashing each other into oblivion. It's sort of sad that we've all kind of graduated and moved away, so we can't play as easily as we used to. And I know you're thinking, why don't you just play online? Nintendo still kind of hasn't figured out online. It's not great. Lag. A bunch of it. It's bad. Really kind of bad. But still, playing offline in all the various modes they've added, like Smashdown and Squad Strike, they're super fun, and they're great to play when you are with a group of friends. If you asked anyone who knew me, who does Danny want in Smash Bros? They probably would have told you Shovel Knight. So it was kind of bittersweet to have Shovel Knight announced as an assist trophy, but I'm glad he's getting recognized, and maybe next time around he'll be a playable character. But aside from that, Sakurai added one of my most requested characters in the Smash ballot, King K. Rool. And so far he's busted, so can't really complain. I think all the modes in this game are fun in their own way, but regular Smash is the meat and potatoes in this game, and that's kind of always how it's gonna be. But getting together with your friends, putting the controls in your hands, and just going ham, picking your favorite characters from all these different franchises, and just beating the crap out of each other. It doesn't get any better than that. Number 3 on this list is Celeste. Whenever I hear someone ask, what's Celeste? I feel like it's my gamer duty to explain how magnificent this game is, but I don't think my words could do it justice, but I'm going to try. Celeste is a platformer that really changes the game in terms of gameplay and storytelling. You play as Madeline, not Celeste, who's trying to climb to the top of Celeste Mountain, which may be a literal mountain, but it's also a metaphorical mountain as well. It represents her trying to climb the mountains in her life, as Madeline goes through a lot of emotional struggles throughout the game. There's a vast array of levels, each one introducing a new obstacle to deal with, which helps solidify that Madeline is constantly dealing with these new blockades that are discouraging her from finishing her quest. Saying Celeste is difficult is an understatement. You are going to die in this game. A lot. As a bit of an idea of how much you'll die, after completing the story and going back to complete a bunch of B and C side levels, I've died 6,100 times. Yes, I've died a lot. Celeste is pretty much the Dark Souls of cute indie games. Sorry, is that joke old already? I didn't mean... I just thought it's kind of what we said whenever we play a game where you die a lot. No? Alright, my bad. I take it back. But to make up for often you'll die, the respawns are often and quick. When you fall to your death, you're immediately back in the action, pretty much right where you left off. But if you are one for a major challenge, the game also has an assist mode that allows you to tailor the game to your own liking, so you can focus more on the story and less on the platforming. I personally played this game on the Nintendo Switch, but this game is now out on pretty much every platform. So please, do yourself a favor, pick up this game. You won't regret it. Number 2 on this list is Marvel's Spider-Man. Remember when Spider-Man 2 was the best Spider-Man game we've ever gotten? Well, now we have Insomniac Spider-Man, and we can all get rid of that old-ass game. The best part of this game, in my opinion, is that Insomniac took the liberty of taking multiple Spider-Man storylines and mixing them into one incredible story. One where we have Peter and Miles in the same universe, existing as 2 Spider-Men. Hopefully that doesn't mean Peter's gonna die. Does it? Insomniac? You're not gonna kill Peter, right? Your Lowenthal brings us arguably the best interpretation of Spider-Man we've ever had, by making this character feel as snarky and quick-witted as ever before, while allowing us, the gamer, to be the character along with him. The Miles and Mary Jane missions were super fun. They took a step back from the intense combat missions throughout the rest of the game. They aren't quite as fun the second or third playthrough, but for the first time going in, they were pretty cool. On launch night, I played this game for roughly 8 hours. Caught some shut-eye, and then jumped right back into it. And losing that much sleep over a game shows how good it really is. And don't even get me started on how many suits are in this game. There are so many I'd never heard of that I had to do research to figure out where they came from. And then there's a whole bunch that Insomniac made themselves. One thing though, Insomniac, if you're gonna update the game, wait until the DLC's out to put the trophies. Otherwise you make me look like a goober on stream.
What? That's not even fair! The Turf War trophies are out and you can't even play it yet! You can't play that till next week! Ah!
In an interview with Brian Intihar, the creative director at Insomniac, he mentioned how this game was the Iron Man of Marvel games, which means if this goes well, we're potentially looking at a universe of these games. So who knows what's next? Black Panther. Please, someone, anyone, just make me a Black Panther game. That's all I ask. So here we are at number 1, my game of the year, my 2018 game of the year, the game that screams 2018 to me. Number 1 on the list is God of War. God of War is the best example I have of a studio taking a franchise with so much history and changing it so drastically for the better. It was funny, actually, at E3 when they were announcing this game, we were watching, making fun of how during the orchestra it sounded like a God of War song, and how they were going to shadow drop God of War 4 on us today. I mean, we definitely did not get it that day. I think we got it like 2 years later. But it was worth the wait because this game was amazing. God of War tells the story of a father and a son who are so disconnected, but rely on each other. And I'll be honest, this is something I didn't realize until playing it the second time through, that I relate to the story in such an intimate level. While growing up, my father and I were not particularly close, and we in fact fought a lot. It was the sort of situation where he knew what was right for me, but I didn't agree with it, and even though he thought it was right, it kind of wasn't. But now my dad and I have a much better relationship, so don't worry, it's all good here. But seeing the evolution of Kratos and Atreus' relationship really struck a nerve with me, and I saw myself as Atreus just wanting to make my dad proud of me, but not the cost of losing myself in the process. Now, to get past all the sappy family stuff, let's talk about this masterpiece. The complete change in gameplay from the God of War trilogy to this 2018 iteration allows for a more mature audience in gaming, while still sticking to the gory and bloody gameplay that it was known for in the past. Santa Monica Studios did an amazing job marketing this game, while keeping secrets and misdirecting us in a good way. If you recall at E3, they showed off the troll fight where it takes place on the bridge, but in the actual game, you don't meet it till the end of that level, or the end of that mission at least. It's such a different thing where we go into this game expecting right here is where this thing that I saw was going to happen, but they completely changed it. The other situation I can think of is in one of the trailers, they show Kratos getting launched over the building, crashing into his roof from a troll. But then the actual game, you're introduced to Boulder, and he's the one that causes that, which blew my ever-loving mind when that happened. It was so amazing. I was pounding. I'm sorry. I'm getting really excited. I really like this game. I like this game a lot. Coming into 2018, I knew God of War was over the horizon, but it didn't really catch me until about a month beforehand. I knew I was going to get this game on launch day. I knew I was going to play it, and I knew I was going to have a good time, but I didn't know how good of a time I was going to have. I can't explain how this game just totally caught me off guard and really changed Kratos as a character as well as God of War as a franchise for me. I had honestly not played the initial God of Wars until somewhere in 2016. I just binged through all 3 of the games, and then I played Ascension afterwards. And they were really fun games. They were definitely hard, and there were a lot of times where I just got really rage-induced and kind of had to take a break, go to bed, come back in the morning, try again. And I found myself with this new God of War, as much as I wanted to stop, it wasn't too hard, I just wasn't doing it right. So I'm like, if I do this now, if I try this again, I'm gonna get it. Granted, that kept me up for, you know, another hour or two every night playing, but I always found myself wanting more of this story and not wanting to stop. I really enjoyed doing the puzzles. They weren't like the original trilogy where they were kind of slow and heavy and just thrown in there to make sure you get the next thing. They felt meaningful. If I got to get to a place that I can't reach, I need to use Atreus to get him up there. Also, something we can't move on from God of War without talking about is that one-shot camera throughout the entire game. The camera starts from you cutting down a tree and it ends with you finishing the story. It's incredible. This is such a masterpiece of a game, something that I've never seen done before. And if it ever's been tried before, it obviously hasn't been as successful because no one's called it out like they have for God of War. For anyone here who's stuck around the channel long enough, you know that I love collectibles, statues, figurines. As soon as they announced the Stonemason edition of this game, I went and pre-ordered it. I had a regular copy paid off. I rolled it over to add an extra $200 to make sure that I got this edition. I got the statue, I got the keychain of Mimir, I got a bunch of cool stuff. You can also tell how much care was put into this game just by the director Cory Barlog. If anyone was on the internet the night this game got released, Cory was doing a live stream or recording his reaction, something to the effect of the reviews going live, seeing, hey, you know, God of War's out, let's see what people think, and him reading him, and him genuinely crying on camera because people loved his game. And you could tell he had put his all into this game. He's told stories about how he's had to be away from his family and how he's had to, you know, work holidays and work all these extra hours to get this game done. And it shows. He truly loved this game, and I cannot wait to see what he does with a sequel to this game. I think God of War has just changed the game for me. It's one that I've spent all year from the time I finished, people asking me, hey, you know, what games should I pick up? I just got a PS4. God of War is always one I mention. Of course, I also mention Uncharted, but, you know, older game. For a 2018 game, if you're looking for something current, something modern, God of War is like the PlayStation exclusive to have. It's an amazing game, and I think everyone should play it. But guys, with that, that is a list of my top 10 games of 2018. I really hope you guys enjoyed. I know there were probably some critiques you had for the way I talked, how fast I went, so on and so forth. I really want to try and get in the swing of doing this, I don't want to say vlog, but this kind of video essay thing. I know the camera's not great. I want to try and get some kind of setup, some kind of better visual. But I would like to do more things like this, whether that's reviewing games, talking about games, video game news, stuff like that. Maybe a once a week kind of thing. It's kind of a lot. You don't know how much work I've put into this video in the last like 2 or 3 weeks. But no, I really like doing this. I hope it turns out well. I hope you guys enjoy. Please like the video, share it with your friends. And again, comment below, what are your top 10 games of 2018? What games did you love? What games did I leave off? What games do you agree with? Is God of War your game of the year? Are you someone that's going to come and fight me because you think Red Dead belongs up there? Because it doesn't. I gave you the reasons why it's number 8. You know. Sorry. Relax, Danny. It's okay. Yeah, that's it for me. I can't wait to get into next year. 2019 is going to be another amazing year of video games, and I intend to do another one of these around the end of the year of 2019. And maybe we'll just make it an annual thing. It'd be pretty dope. Yeah, guys, that's it for me. Take care. Bye-bye. Or you find yourself putting your heart and soul into showing your crush intimate and... Or you find yourself putting... Fuck me. I can't believe I made myself do this.